And we will kill the lights. And we're in business. Okay, so good morning. It is Tuesday, the 13th of March. And I apologize, I'm running a little bit late here this morning. Let's get Globex high and low in really quick. NQ tacking on another 22 points. If I have this right, and I do, apparently, we're at 71. Let's see if I had this right. There we go. 2350. Globex high came in at 72.0250. So we'll get that fixed first. Let's see here. 72.0250. Close enough for hand grenades. And so it was interesting. The president blocked the merger between Qualcomm and Broadcom, I believe, last night with obviously zero net effect. There's something interesting going on in the tech market, and we want to look to be responsive buyers there. 71.51 and a quarter is Globex low. And let's get ES squared away. There we go. Let's minimize Russell. By the way, Russell's been on fire, guys, in terms of the zones, the usage there. I am emphasizing ES more and more as we go through the days. It takes me a little while to kind of get things moved around, but that will continue to happen. Globex high on ES, which is obviously trailing still NQ, 27.97 and a quarter. Oops. Came in right off of funny, right to where the chart was repaired. So you can see how ES has overhead resistance, and that's why it's having a hard time springing up. We obviously wanted to get above and hold above value area high. We're currently trading on, you know what? I bet I have this wrong. Hold on. ESM18. There we go. Here, let's correct that. 28.05. Sorry, guys. Still having a hard time running. There we go. I think I'll have to check if I moved this, but I think I had it right here. Let me check. Hold on. I moved it. Let me check real quick. I had ES for today, and I had that at $27.97 and a quarter. Okay, and then new parallel, 27.86 and a quarter. Okay, let's insert symbol tick. We'll be ready to go off the open. I won't have to mess with it. And let's go through our process here today. Okay, so number one thing that I want to share is that we are one-timing to the upside, right? So guys who've joined us on YouTube, I'll find the areas based on the algo as it fires through the course of the day. We were 2 for 2 yesterday. Actually, if you count the pre-market aggressive location, it was 3 for 3, but that's fine. Let's go through our process step by step. I know this part is boring for the most part, but it does keep you from getting the daylights blown out of you while you're trading, and I think it's probably the most important part of the trade. I apologize. I had to reboot this computer, and I don't have join me up. It'll be 1 second, and we'll be firing there. So remember the most important thing. We're one timing to the upside, right? So no matter how badly you feel like the market should be going down, or this should be a top, right? Your first clue is going to be the ability to trade below prior day's low. I'm missing something in the chat here, so I'm going to go look at it really quick. Peter, past CPI hurdle, but news came out in ES 2005 that Tillerson is out. What symmetry? Yes, well, Tillerson will have to go back to running a large oil company. I'm not sure I feel very bad for him. So we'll see where he comes from there. Let's get this code in and get this thing running. Oh, let's try this again. It's joining, and as soon as it's up, I'll go and pop it in there and show you where the critical levels are that I'm looking for. But it's taking its sweet time doing it. Matter of fact, it's not doing it. There we go. Okay, in business. Okay, let's bring this in. We'll go through NQ first. Oh. What is the issue here? Chart settings. Okay, right click, set. Nope, it's not what I want. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go through this step by step, nice and slow. We got plenty of time. Obviously, there's potential for gap and go and NQ. So number one, notice how we are at each level. Wow, this is weird. Why do I have this messed up? TPO, TPO. Interesting that I have my chart looking like this. This is an old profile, not a new one. It's an old one. So let me check this really quick. It's an old instance. Here's ES. This is what I want it to look like just because I'm familiar with it. So what I'm going to do is check my chart settings really quick to make sure I get this right. 30, 1549, 150 days to load. Okay. Right click, duplicate chart, and chart settings. NQ. That was interesting. I don't know why when I do a new instance, it went back so many versions of that chart. That was a really old version of that chart. So we'll have this up in just a second. There we go. Okay. First thing I want to note on the chart, see how I can't trade below prior day's low? I'm one timing to the upside. So just like in any market, I want to go back for those because I have not many, but a few people that are thinking bearish. Notice when we start one timing, right? The short gets much easier when after the first day that we have the ability to trade below the prior day's low. And you can go back and look as many instances as you want. It's always easier afterwards. What's number two thing that makes the short easier? Getting underneath the value area, which is the dark blue on this chart. Okay. So this is a really simple choice. You can either say, hey, I have to pick off the top, or hey, I want the easier trade. The easier trade comes when you're underneath a prior day's value area. You have people helping you out, meaning trap traders, to get the market to roll to the downside. Okay, so very, very, very important. Okay. Next, so we know today, based on that information, that number one, what do we have to see on NQ to think we have the possibility of rolling lower? We have a couple of pieces. We're going to go through them step by step. Okay. Number one, requirement. We have to trade below prior day's high, 71.85 and a quarter, right? So we'll go through our protocol of gap up, open drive higher. Do we trade below the first 5-minute low? Can we trade above above the first 5-minute bar or below the first 5-minute bar? The 50-60 closing behind the 62 retrace, 3 green bars in a row. We all know the open drive protocol. We can read it pretty clearly, right? Number 2, can we get below 71.85 and a quarter? And then the big question is in order to move lower, you must trade below 71.74 and a quarter. Next, the volume point of control and the TPO point of control are separated, right? If I were trading where I'd want to shoot for a response, even though it's tiny, would actually be in this case would be the settle price and the TPO point of control, and specifically this little area right in here. There's a zone right in here. This is what I'm shooting for to find a long. It's important that we get back above 71.70 once we get in here. If we consolidate underneath here, underneath the 71.65 to 71.62, it opens us up for a move to the downside. And really, the problem with that is there's nothing to repair on the downside. So the market should really respond out of this area. If it doesn't, that is a sign of a problem and that we are likely going to come down and test yesterday's low and possibly even break yesterday's low. The areas below are Dalton's gap fill, the settle price, and then somewhere between here and here, we should find responsive buyers, right? So that's a huge stretch. I don't imagine we're going to get down in here. I think this is your best area odds-wise to find a fat long. Back to the upside, there's also a half gap, modified half gap right in between 71.30 and 71.35. That's also a high odds location, right? So I'm giving you the high odds locations. I just don't think we're going to get down there, right? You're going to actually have to get a reversal, and then we're going to have to get below and hold below value area low is the last piece in that. So realize value area low will probably be traded for support. If we trade underneath it, get back above and push, we'll probably push back to the 71.70 because there's nothing else down here to hang your hat on except for value area low. So 71.85, 71.74 and a quarter. Remember, when we're in very bullish mode, traders are going to use that 71. Got it. So value area low equals Globex low today. And the only way we were able to get down there was because of the president's announcement that he was blocking the Broadcom merger with Qualcomm. So I don't see how we're going to be able to get down there. Quite frankly, the earnings look apparently very strong. And at any rate, I expect 71.74 and 3/4 to get a responsive attempt. And I expect 71.50, 75. Those are your key areas for the day, just simply because I don't think we can get down to 71.32. We're really not short, or you don't have an easy short, easy meaning help from the market, until you get below 71.35. Now, we'll have the intraday algos to help us out, and I'll call out those locations. So the way you defer that is this. If you're aggressive, the short locations are fine. But that's, you're on the, if there's a 0 to 10, okay, shorts are on the 10 end of the scale of aggressiveness. Longs are about a 5 or a 6, no matter where you take them, because you're going to have support from the market to push you back up. The only place that becomes a danger sign is if we get behind the 62 retraces, which we'll highlight through the course of the day. Let's go do ES really quick. Don't want that. Don't want that. Okay, I know I have ES in here, so give me 1 second. There we go. Make sure I'm on the right contract so that nothing's rolled over. There we go. Proper times. I don't apologize for this chart being messed up. Okay, so important. Currently trading 28.02 and a quarter, right? So on ES, you got to get above the high at 28.0250, right? Globex high came in at 28.05. Okay. The reason why ES is having a hard time running is because if you'll look to the left over here, right, we have overhead resistance. See that? The most logical target here to the upside is, first of all, Dalton's gap fill, right, and was also the bottom of support here on the January 31st and 2-1, 28.1750. That's a logical target up to the upside. It's about 15 points to the upside. That's been a rotation that we've had in ES. That's your first location if you're looking for short. that you should run into an issue. Notice that the profiles are relatively smooth. There's no hole in this profile till back over here, and there's a second distribution. So I would say your best resistance is 2834 to 2841. Write this in your notes. ES auction is complete to the upside at 2841, meaning if we trade above and close back below, you can probably expect me to be short and look for a rotation back to the downside. We'll probably attempt a short if I can get a signal from the algos at 2834 to 2837. This whole area is logical to get a rejection out. I would expect at least a trading rejection in this area, but again, I'll wait on the algos to give me a setup from 2817.50, right? Where do we run into issues? Okay, number one, let's go look inside. So that's what's above. It's pretty clear cut. There's not much to think about there. They're already marked off on the charts. Okay. Let's push this out a little bit. So we already know that there's nothing until 2817.50. Should have a pretty easy run to the upside. So within the algos, you have value, you have prior day's high, first key to getting the market to roll down. B, you have to get below 2793. There's a hole in the profile starting at 2795. I would expect a responsive buy between 2795 and 2793.50. You want to write that down, even though it's on the charts, right? And I'm not sure whether it will come from the front or the back in that case. This is the backstop. This is the front end. This hole should get repaired, and we should see a responsive buy, okay? Much like yesterday, where we got up, this is why I wanted to be aggressive in this area yesterday at this 2787.50 to 2786.75. I wasn't quite Johnny on the spot there. What we did was we traded below, then traded back above, backside tested and pushed, right? So I was long at 87 3/4 yesterday. I took a little bit of heat after I got into that trade, almost got stopped out, came within a hair of getting stopped out. I didn't think we would push to the TPO point of control, and we did. The trade started working, but this really kind of gave the boundary for the lower end of the range. Okay, so with that same reasoning, right, coming over today, I would expect this to get the boundary for the lower end of the range unless we're really going to flush, in which case we'll get below 2793.50. You can expect me to be looking for a long and that location on ES. Okay, next, point of control and TPO point of control are huddled together. You probably get a response out of 2790 to 89, right? Again, that's about a 10-point rotation down. That's the only problem with this area. And then finally, when we get underneath 2789, let's get rid of this. There is nothing underneath until you get to value area low. And remember, what we have to do is trade below 2783.50 to stop the one time into the upside. This TPO point of control was untested, but I also consider it weak. I wouldn't be targeting it for a trade. What I'd rather target is a trade below 85 than a trade back above for a push back in. Remember, if we trade underneath, the most obvious area down here is this massive hole in the profile. You can expect me, I think that's the best odds long location for ES today, is this 77 to 75.25, and I'll be targeting that. I think areas below the charts gets repaired. I don't think we'll stretch this far, but from Friday coming back to 27.60, and there's another hole in the profile there at 66 to 63, and you'll see me targeting hard big swings from 66 to 60, right? In this area, I'm looking for a swing. I would expect the auction to get completed down here if we could even remotely get there. I mean, remember, that's going to be a big roll to the downside. I don't see what would possibly get us there. And then the other thing to note is volatility came in dramatically, not a little bit, not somewhat, dramatically, okay? So slow your pace down. Your quick snaps that we've been used to getting, your rotations up, we're going to take a little bit longer. Yesterday, I think I was in that ES trade for a full 30 or 45 minutes before getting a scale. Just going to take longer to make the trades work. It's going to take longer to make the extensions work to the upside. Other than that, I'm pretty relaxed and I'm ready to go for the day. I'm going to burn the first half hour. Does anyone have any questions over what my trade plans are? That should translate for ease of purpose into these zones. You'll notice that on NQ, there's only one zone and there's a lot of noise in between value area high, volume point of control. This is where the hole is. That's why I'm targeting it. But any of this is valid location on NQ. You're just going to, again, use your tools for getting above or below your last best buyer or seller. But I'll be very interested to see how they treat this first half hour and see if they can open drive higher or open drive lower. so on and so forth. I hope I've been clear with the market preview. Oh, guys who joined us on YouTube, I forgot. I will fix this here real quick. Wow, that's not very helpful, is it? Wow, that's totally useless, isn't it? Let's see if we can fix this. There we are. There we go. Past performance is not indicative of future results, right? This is for educational purposes only. You can lose a lot of money trading futures. Please be aware of that. Not trying to make this look easy, just trying to give good trade location where you have good risk reward. I'm sharing my trade plan with you in hopes it'll make you a better trader. Absolutely have a good trade plan and a risk management plan. If you're losing money trading futures, stop. Paper trade till you're trading profitably on paper. And then when you go back to real money trading, if there's a problem, right? If you're making money paper trading and you're losing money real money trading, the problem's psychological and how you're executing, and the fix is in between those 2 points. And that's where you start getting corrected as a trader. Let me get out of sim before I have a day that I do not want to have. Hold on 1 second. And then let me get my trading DOMs up on the other computer. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you for joining us. Really should be a pretty relaxed day. I expect to have some good trades. I'm just going to wait till after the first half hour pops. My goal is to get 1 to 2 good trades, maybe 3, and roll from there. So if y'all like to join us in the room, you can email me at tradertough@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to extend a 5-day pass. Thank you all for joining us on YouTube, and we will be back tomorrow morning. Have a great day.